this week has been pretty interesting, hasn't it, chat? Hasn't it? For Destiny fans and for Bungie. It's wonderful. I've been keeping up, like just kind of like reading up as things go, because a lot of this stuff is just like it's not obviously from Bungie themselves directly on like a big blog post. We got their big quote unquote big blog post. It was actually just like a paragraph, which was a whole lot of nothing. Just kind of like just giving us promises of future being better, which a lot of people feel like it's too little, too late kind of thing. I genuinely want to give specifically the devs, because I know that there's dedicated devs that do want, as we learned, which I've said this for a long time, that it feels like, because there's so many people that are working on Destiny, so many people, that it feels weird that we don't get certain things, like, or it just feels like everything is way too consistent on being disappointing on releases. And I think it's always been because of management. I always felt like the management is like, no. We're not going to use our time and money and effort on trying to make this even better. We're going to make sure that we don't over-deliver. And look at where it got them. Like, that is a leadership issue, and it is a real big problem that the management has no repercussions for it. So, yeah, that's a thing. It's bad. Hey, Vicious, still got your cold? Hope it goes away. Hope you feel better soon. Apparently, Bungie devs aren't happy with over monetization as well. Yeah, I heard that too.
A very small amount of hope that TTK and Forsaken are the apparent benchmark for TFS. But yeah, upper management and their fear of over-delivery is Bungie's biggest problem, not just Destiny.
Thank you for the bits, by the way. Thank you. No, I agree. I said that too, that when it wasn't mentioned like directly, well, it was kind of mentioned sort of in their blog. But that Paul Tassie's blog talking about more about it, we're getting interviews with like Bungie devs and more information, it seems. It sounds like they want to make it better, the final shape better than Forsaken, the Taken King, and I'm just sitting here like, listen, I don't know what. Like, I hope that they know how much content was in those expansions, even just the Taken King. The Taken King had, like, what? Like, 8 PvP maps, and I think around, like, 4 strikes or 5. They also revamped a lot of strikes, too, which I've been saying this for a long time, that's why I do not like the strike playlist as of right now, is because they're just taking the Battlegrounds maps or whatever and putting them in there, and they're not strikes. The cool thing about strikes in Destiny 1 was having the bosses change at the end. Like, it would be random, or the encounters would be random. And I feel like we don't need to make these strikes lore accurate all the time. Like, make them just fun. That's the big problem. So, yikes. It's bad. That would require an absurd amount of work. Well, they did delay it, but with all those layoffs, I can't, like, I'm trying to believe them that the reason why they delayed it, which is not officially announced still, which is concerning because it makes people kind of assume that it might be further than what we heard rumors on, but still. Got an eye infection. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It may be copium on my end, but I feel this desire to be better than TTK is a secret confirmation of a red subclass, if not in TFS, than in episode 1.
Yeah, thank you for the bits. I did say that like, because people were talking about how the subclasses were like kind of weird, that we got some new light subclasses instead of like a brand new full-on darkness subclass to end the light and dark saga, which would make perfect sense. And when there was the oopsie daisies moment, which seems to happen a lot, where they leak a icon and then like the color of the icon is conveniently to the next subclass. They did that with Strand. I don't remember. I think they did that with Stasis as well, where like somebody was just showing like what they were working on. It was like a dev showing a preview, like what they, like an emote or something that they did, and then on the their subclasses just got all this stuff that is yeah. Hey, Lifeless. Hey, just got the goosebumps goo totally in there. Hey, Leaf. 8 PvP maps, 5 strikes, Court of Oryx, the Heroic Strike playlist, Skeleton Keys, the campaign, weapon reworks, and King's Fall raid. Yeah, like that. Taken King alone had a lot of content, and then Forsaken was insanely big because of, we got 2 patrol zones, we got PvP maps, we got strikes, we had our first ever dungeon, we had a raid, like obviously the story, the revamps to how our weapons work and the subclasses and stuff, like we got the new ones, like I want to believe them. I really do. And I want it to be that hype. But, and regardless, like, a lot of that morale and excitement went down when you see a lot of these people being laid off. Specifically, I still say that Salvatore is where that one stings the most. And Michael Seacrest. Like, really? These geniuses that made the music of Destiny are being laid off? Why? Like, it sounds like more of a, you don't get, like allegedly it was because, so then, and this happens a lot with companies, is they will fire you right before you get the shares. So when they got that, the purchase of like when Sony purchased Bungie and they, that $3.6 billion, obviously a lot of these people get shares on that, like where they can get a little piece of that pie. But there's like a deadline where, like, not a deadline, but there's like a day where if you're still like working for the company, you'll get that. But if you quit, or the worst scenario that's stupid, that makes no sense, is if you get fired, you can lose those shares. So a lot of people are speculating that the reason why Salvatore got laid off was because of, so then he can't get a huge piece of that pie, which is really messed up. And you hear that with a lot of other companies and stuff, because then that money goes to the company, that goes to Bungie, and that sucks. So it's yeah. On Vault, Luke Smith. I mean, Luke Smith had some great ideas, and you know, I know we got really angry with the sunsetting, but there is a huge loot problem in Destiny. So it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know. But I've said this numerous times that I feel like, and I've seen a lot of your comments, and I've seen like everyone's basically saying the same thing, that Destiny, people don't want to play it because they don't feel like the game is fun to play. It feels more like a chore. There's like, and then there's stress of like FOMO. So like, for example, you'll have the Igneous Hammer in Trials for only this weekend, and then you won't get it until like months later, or you'll completely miss out until the next season, or it might go into the vault where you can't get it. But the thing is that you're like, oh man, I want to get that weapon, but then you're playing on a map that's been around for years. Like, I think right now the map is Pacifica. Like, that's been around since Destiny 2 launch time period. Like, we don't get a lot of new content to play with. and the environments of the core playlist and stuff. And it just gets like, it just becomes all the same. Like, yes, we get new dungeons, we get raids and stuff. But when it comes to just like relaxing and chilling and doing just a video game experience and whatever, you do the core playlists, and they don't care about those areas because they don't make direct revenue. And that's where it just becomes like, when they said that, oh, we don't, it's too hard to make PvP maps. I was like, press X for doubt. Because what was the, why, how, what, why? How is that? That's way too convenient. Like, now that it's doesn't make direct revenue. I just want a new game, clean slate. I know that a lot of people have been feeling like that. I've been mixed on it because of, obviously, I've said that if they were to just make a Destiny 3 and start over, I would only be okay with that if it meant the foundation would be 10 times better than what Destiny 2 has, where there's a huge emphasis on, you know, content being consistent with, you know,
plus
PvP
Bungie
map
said
strikes.
At the GDC 2021 conference that they have, quote, outgrown box products, end quote. As a longtime fan of the original Marathon games, that hurt worse than fear over delivery.
Yeah. So thank you for the bits. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I still, that over delivery thing comment still stings greatly, but, and you can, well, look at how that turned out. Jolly, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Just feel like people look at D3 being a failure from the start. Kamicakes put a video on it the other day. Oh, what did Kamicakes say about that? No, I don't think Destiny 3 would be a failure at the beginning, because if you look from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, things did change, like the foundation and stuff like that, whether it be for the better or worse. I think where in the worse was where they tried to make the game more safe and balanced with the double primary meta and the static roles. But if we had Destiny 2 launch the way that we have, like, for, like, if, let's just like say we take the way Destiny is from Witch Queen, that period of time, and we released Destiny 2 during that time. So we would have gotten the Red Legion campaign with a legend mode. And that would lead to the campaign actually feeling a little bit better on the gameplay aspect because of it not just being a breeze. Then you would have loot that had random rolls to be excited to get, including the stuff that you would get inside the Leviathan raid when that would be released. We would most likely also get a dungeon, maybe, if it's going to be the level of like Forsaken. We would have PvP maps. We had all this stuff. It would probably have been a way better, like, Destiny 2 launch if it was like that. So I feel like a lot of people are just worried about a Destiny 3 because of how Destiny 2 turned out when that released. But I feel like the reason why Destiny 2 turned out awful was because they tried to make it a little too simple. And play it a little too safe when it comes to PvP and stuff. But we've seen how that got better with Forsaken. So it's like you got to look at like the foundation being at a good spot, not a bad one. Yeah, Destiny 2 New Game Plus. Niobe Labs puzzle and the Time Corridor puzzles. I do miss a lot of those puzzles and stuff.
I remember before the showcase reading a leak saying that Bungie would make a modular download system to unvault the entire DCV in 2025. Fat chance of that happening now, though.
Never heard of that leak. Think of the bits, by the way. Because the DCV, like, I know that they said that they're not putting stuff in the Destiny content vault anymore, which I don't know how, because if Destiny is going to continue going forward, we have no idea what's going to be after the episodic stuff for Destiny 2. A lot of people are assuming that Destiny might end. after Final Shape? Doubt it. Unless Bungie is going under, doubt it. The reason why I say this is because that's where all their money is coming from. I know that there's Marathon, but I don't. Many people have said this. If they were to put too much effort into Marathon being the next big thing where it makes a lot of money, so they ignore Destiny 2. And then Marathon releases and nobody wants to touch it. They're doomed. They're doomed. So, no. Destiny is going to continue. It's just a matter of how is it going to continue? What is it going to be? I don't know. Love your shaders, by the way. Thank you. Thinks it would be worth the wait with the right features. That's what I said with Destiny 3. I said that if they were to take a year, I'd be fine with this. If they took a year to not do any Destiny content, like maybe like do like small free updates or whatever throughout the year, but if that meant that they would make a Destiny 3 where it brings back that Bungie magic, we like to say. The Bungie magic. I think a lot of people felt like the Bungie magic was peak during Halo 3. I know Halo Reach was also a big one for a lot of people, but I was there. And I loved Halo Reach, but there were things about Halo Reach that drove me nuts when going from Halo 3 to Halo Reach. Specifically on Bloom and Armor Lock being OP, like Forge was cool, but the Infection was ruined. There's a lot to that. Like Infection was a lot better in Halo 3 with a lot of the options that you had with like the alpha zombies and stuff. But I think that Halo 3 was where like the Bungie magic was at peak. We need to get to there if it's possible, but I don't know. I'm scared that the higher ups will kill the company because of the being no brain celled with the stupid corrupt ideas, and I don't want to be this thing the day Bungie died, but it's looking closer and closer, and I'm worried. I mean, that is, with everything that we've heard, like the 45% missed revenue, that is not a dev problem. That is a leadership issue. And this game has so much monetization to it. So much. And devs have openly even said that the over monetization is awful. They wish that it wasn't like that. I even said, like, if you just go to the store this is where I'm like, why? You go to the store and we can go all the way. Like, this is where I was laughing the most. I went past it. Here, look at these legendary shells. These are from, like, the first Festival of the Lost. $4. Why? These things look like garbage. Why? Like, maybe 50 cents. Like, why?
As a long-time Marathon fan, I hold that the Bungie magic was at its peak in Combat Evolved. But then I am an old fart giggling like an idiot at a loud green emoji, so maybe I'm just a weirdo?
You're not a weirdo, think with the bits. Hey, I never got into, like, I didn't start playing Halo until Halo 3. But I did obviously go back and play Halo CE. I never experienced, like, you know, where you had your buddies over and you did this LAN parties or split screen parties with Halo CE, multiplayer and stuff. But I genuinely think that Halo 3 was where it was at because of all the stuff that they did. But yeah, you look at all these emotes that are old, very old, and they never do sales. Like, where's the armors from like previous festival? Oh, here they are. Still $15. $15. $15. $15. Like, they not even a sale. like a discount because, hey, this is old, like this set of armor. It's not good. I don't think it looks good at all. So why make it $15? I feel like, I'm not saying people would actually buy it, but I mean, if they made it like $3, I feel like that would be a good idea. Put things on sale. But yeah, no, they don't do it like that. There's just too much, and it's too expensive. And then you have the expansions, the DLCs still selling at full price. It's like they went, it's like they did an Activision where like old Call of Duties are still selling at full price, and it's way too expensive to get into Destiny. Like if you want to get anyone to get involved with the Destiny experience and be able to do all the things, like they have to spend so much money to get in. Free to play, am I right? Yeah, no. The cloak is the only thing that was good. Yeah, I guess. But I've said this, that I don't know. I think that if they did a Destiny 3, this is where the way that they do like Forge. Have Forge in Destiny. Look at how Forge is in Halo Infinite. If you haven't checked that stuff out, you should check it out. It's crazy on how awesome it is on what they got there. I mean, right now they have, you can spawn in AI enemies. You can make a firefight map from the ground up. You can make campaign missions from the ground up. Infinite's Forge is amazing. And Halo Infinite released poorly, but they're picking themselves back up, and I'm really happy about that. I'll probably be playing more Halo for sure in general, because it's so cool with what they have. If Destiny had that, I think we'd be eating good. Real good. Imagine if there was Forge to the level of Halo Infinite in Destiny, with custom game options and stuff like that, where you could force people to have like the same loadouts, the same subclasses, and specific things like that. You know? What if we had that? What if? And then you could make Gambit maps too. You like, this is where the enemies spawn and stuff like that. We would be eating good. To the level of, if we were able to, like, people could make strikes. So when Bungie would implement like a boss for like a campaign mission, they'd be like, oh, also this boss is in the Forge mode. You can use it. You can add it, whatever, including raid bosses. So you can have your own version of Atheon and your own thing that you created. That would be an innovative move. It's ridiculous, like crazy, probably would be super expensive to try and do and take a long time, but I'd be willing to wait a whole year or however long till they would get that in there without any Destiny content. None. For like however long. If that would be a Destiny 3. But like I said, it's just the problem for me, especially when you play other games, and I know a lot of people don't really play. Like originally, like I would get people saying Destiny is all I need. And you could tell that they are like stuck in Destiny. Like they can't even pick up a different game and see what it's like. Please, if you're like that, play another game. There's a lot of good ones out there, but when you play these other games, you realize, oh, there's a video game instead of a chore, instead of like FOMO being there. Playtime is the most important thing over the fun. You play those, and you go back to Destiny, and you realize, man, I wish that, Bungie would try and focus on video game stuff rather than your playtime. Like, that this game You know deep down what they care about more than anything
Cheaties peak
is your playtime. Cheaties, thank you so much for the 37 months. You amazing legend. Hope you're doing good. Thank you. But they do just care about your playtime. That's the main thing. I mean, if I'm wrong, look at even Festival of the Lost. You need candy to then focus the engrams that you get through going through like whatever thing. Like it's just, oh, I don't know. Like, you have to do all this stuff just to get a weapon out of a event that's only here for 3 weeks. Then they don't even add new lost sectors, which is like I was saying was pretty laughable. Because let's be real, the lost sectors you can make in Forge and Halo Infinite. All you're doing is spamming the same assets, which is those, spiders and a ghost and whatever, all over the lost sector, and then putting a capture point on the ground for where the headless ones spawn, and then just put a random boss at the end that is a reused asset, like a wizard, a Cabal, Colossus, those bosses. And then obviously here's where the chest spawns. I can visibly see it being made like almost basically in a Forge mode within like maybe an hour, like to make sure it's working in Forge. It's like I'm going into a pre-made map in Halo and then just spamming stuff, and then done. And they couldn't even do new ones of those for Festival of the Lost. I like, there are some things that I like that they did, but then you look at the memento that they're offering, and that one you can't even stack. It's only one. So, and the reason why they do that, and they heard the feedback where people were like, hey, can we get at least like maybe like 5 to collect? Or maybe 10? Like, if we're going to be a little bit more greedy? They sleep. Because they know that memento is going to make you want to play the event where you're getting 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, because if you were to collect 10 of them, probably Bungie's like, well, then they're going to not play the event anymore because they have 10 of them. Yeah, I heard that you can hold them in your postmaster. So that's like, at least there's that, but I'm talking about like in your inventory would be nice. So it's a real shame that you can't. So yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like, Destiny hasn't really innovated any like new enemies. They kind of sort of doing it with the Tormentor, and I can't remember what the thing, the Rook or something like that in Final Shape. What was it? But it's like one enemy when they should have like a full mess of like enemies, like they did with like the Scorn or the Taken, where it's not just here's one. Yeah, the mini Rolk, whatever. But what it officially is called. I'm getting really bored of playing against the same enemies. Is that what it was called? Yeah, whatever that thing was. Like, I was super hyped. I was like, oh my god, the Final Shape, we're gonna have like actual pyramid ship kind of esque enemies like they did with the Tormentor, but now full class of enemies. And then they just showed one enemy again. I'm like, can we have a full set? Just a full set of enemies. But no, just one again. Like, we haven't had, like, you could say Scorn counted as a new enemy type, but it was kind of like Siva, where it's just like a variation. Same thing with the Taken. I've been hyped on the idea that we would actually get a full-on other faction of enemies for the first time. I thought that was going to happen with this with Final Shape. You know, Witness's troops. But instead, the Witness is just using the Scorn, the Hive, and then some kind of pyramid-shaped enemy things. That's just 2 of them. Hooray. I mean, they literally had Rolk, who was their own faction, but he was the last of his kind, so we killed it. We killed him, and that, well, there you go. And then there was this season's, what was it? The, oh my god. What were they called? It was another, like, alien species, whatever, that the Hive took over, where they're gone. No, not the Tormentor. It was the boss of the season that you kill, like, very easily in the story mission. It was very underwhelming of a story mission. But that giant Hive Knight, the Leviathan, yeah, the Ammonites, yeah, whatever those things, yes, that was it. But and even its design was just another Hive Knight, but obviously it probably would have had a different design if it wasn't consumed by Hive. But yeah, like, it's just sad, you know. It's like, that's why I'm hoping that with Final Shape, it's like, I would be hyped if, like, Final Shape is going to do the whole, like, universe reset thing, where then there's, like, brand new, like, entirely new enemy factions, all of them. That'd be crazy, but probably not. That would require a lot of work. Be like making Destiny 1 all over again. Oh, really, Lifeless? Okay. I don't know. Destiny, it has its potential of being something greater, but we always have this issue where it goes right back to this, where we're rock bottom, where we're starving for Destiny content, for Destiny that feels something that we would love it to be, but it's just not there. It's bad. Can we get a Web of Shadows type thing where the witnesses all over the place and spawns mini witnesses? Bruh. Ayo? Like, also, I will also add in this. I know that with all the doom and gloom of Destiny and Bungie and stuff like that is obviously happening, but I've been seeing a lot of people, like, wondering if they should cancel their pre-order or still keep their pre-order, because I even said it's a double-edged sword. You cancel your pre-order, it's not really going to, like, it's still going to harm the people that are not to blame. I know that sometimes, like, obviously layoffs happen, like, where people don't do a good job and stuff like that, but I genuinely don't think that a lot of the people that were laid off were not doing their job, because we heard how leadership is with this whole over-delivery statement. Like, oh, don't over-deliver. Sounds like a leadership issue. Like, if they... But they don't get in trouble. They don't deal with any of the repercussions of that.
Entire
The management
franchise is undeniably bottled lightning, but my greatest fear is that Bungie will become overconfident and assume that Marathon cannot possibly fail.
No, it's not going to be that. Arctic, thank you for the bits. Completely wrong. No, Bungie is not overconfident about Marathon or any of the other games that they're creating that's in the background, because there is way too much risk of it failing. Apparently, like, allegedly that, like, Astrocross dropped it, where I didn't even know this, that apparently there was like a pre-alpha showcase of Marathon where they invited a bunch of people that play like Tarkov and stuff, like the extraction shooter kind of genre, to test out Marathon. And I guess like they were asked, like, would you play this game if it came out tomorrow? And no one raised their hand. Yeah, they're not going to be overconfident about Marathon. If anything, it's just like them trying another thing, but they are definitely not going to do that. They're not going to be overconfident. In a business standpoint, company standpoint, and all that stuff, no. They can't give up on Destiny. They really can't. There's no way. They can't just be like, okay, let's drop Destiny and then just make these other games and try again. Nope. They need consistent revenue. And where does the only revenue come from? That's right. Destiny 2. So, no, they are not going to do that with Marathon. So that's not going to happen. That's why with everyone saying that they're just going to pull the plug on Destiny, if they do that, they pull the plug on Bungie. They're not going to let that happen. They're going to fight to do right. But it's sad that we had to get to this point for them to come out and flat out say that they want the final shape to be the bench point of Forsaken, when they have been saying for how long? Well, we can't do Forsaken content. We can't do that level of stuff because we need extra help from other studios. And I'm like, why though? You have so many people working on the game. So many, like more than a lot of these other companies. Way more people working. Why? What? At that point, that's kind of why I wish that Sony would be like, hey, well, let me lend you some help with this studio. Like, I feel like that would be nice, but no. It's just a shame. Heck, it would be kind of cool if I've said this with like Halo, that if they were to take the IP of Destiny and give it to another studio to make like spin-offs. But no. But genuinely speaking, going back to what I was saying, is the pre-orders. Like, if you're going to still pre-order Final Shape, okay. If you're not going to pre-order or cancel your pre-order of Final Shape, okay. Don't be a forehead. Don't have some wrinkles on your brain. Don't be attacking people for their decision, because there is no right decision. I don't care what you have to say, because again, get some wrinkles on your brain. There is no right decision. There isn't. Like, I pre-ordered Final Shape. I'm not going to cancel my pre-order, and it's mainly because I want to see this adventure through the end. So with Final Shape specifically, afterwards, I don't know. Like, after I think that the episodes are part of the digital deluxe or whatever, kind of like with the seasons. So I guess like maybe after the episodes we'll see, because I'll play with what I purchased. But like, definitely with Final Shape, that's kind of where I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, we'll see where things go. I wrestled with that decision
all week, but I decided to keep my pre-order. I still have fun with Destiny, and I want to support the devs that still care about us and their craft.
And there are. Also, thank you for the bits. Thank you. There are devs that still, well, I genuinely, like, I still believe that all the devs working at Bungie want to make Destiny great. I don't think that they want it to fail. Obviously they even came out and said that, yeah, they hate the monetization, but again, that's not their decision. That's the managers. That's the higher ups. They're the ones that are going to tell you, oh no, we're keeping it this way. They're the ones pulling the strings. So if somebody does something out of line on making content that is not, making sure that we don't over deliver, they're going to pull that string. Hey, no, you stop that. And that sucks, because I feel like Destiny could have some cool stuff if they were allowed to over deliver. Like when they were saying that, this is where I was like, I don't know who has this dumb idea at Bungie, like the higher ups of this kind of mindset. But I remember reading about the reason why they don't over deliver is because if it puts expectations on the next expansion. And I was like, when Forsaken came out, I expected the next expansion to be the level of Rise of Iron, where it's not as big as the Taken King. So I had no problems. I was like, yeah, and plus the price was lower than Forsaken. So of course I knew that it was not going to be at the same level. They did the same thing with Rise of Iron. I think Rise of Iron was cheaper than Taken King. Look at where we are now. Expansions are always have been less than what we've had in the past with Forsaken, but they're 3 times more expensive than Forsaken. How does that make sense? I know that inflation and all that stuff happens and stuff, but come on. Why? If we were to get one big, huge expansion, maybe every 2 to 3 years, and I mean Forsaken level, they add a ton, or Taken King, where we got all this crazy amount of content, big game-changing things to the foundation of the game, I'd be, woo, yeah. And then all the other expansions be kind of like what we've been expecting with Lightfall or, Witch Queen, where it's playing a little bit more safe. I would be fine with that. So no, it's not. Don't blame us. We knew our expectations, at least I did. When you make an expansion cheaper than the previous one, I'm going to be like, it's definitely not going to be as big as Forsaken. I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, I paid less than Forsaken and it's less than Forsaken on content level. I paid for what I got. This is, that's it. Yeah, with Beyond Light, that's the ironic part. Beyond Light, I think, was more expensive, and I made a video back then too about that with Forsaken, where I openly said, and I remember, I think I got a lot of comments too, where people were like, "Shut up! Bungie needs the money. They worked so hard on this expansion, blah, blah, blah." But I was saying that it's kind of ridiculous that we paid more than Forsaken, but then we got less than Forsaken. That just makes no sense to me. It just, no. And then I even said, hey, fellas, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here with my conspiracies here. But does it feel like us paying for these expansions, doesn't it feel like we're also paying for the free experience for those people that don't pay? What I mean by this is the patrol zone was free.
Yeah,
and normally that's part of the expansion. And it wasn't.
The only expansion I was actually angry about.
Well, a lot of people were, because of stasis and PvP.
Because stasis was the first new damage type since the inception of the franchise.
Thank you for the bids. But, yeah, it's just, Beyond Light had way less than Forsaken, but it was priced a little bit more. And that was the starting point when they started to enhance more microtransactions, more investments into the monetization. And yet we're constantly getting less. It's just, you see a pattern. The only thing that they like to over-deliver is over-delivering on how many things that they can make things part of the cash shop. That's the only thing that I feel like that they're perfectly fine with over-delivering, and that sucks. But I was saying that with Beyond Light. The Europa was free to all players. So I was like, putting it again, tinfoil hat, and I was like, okay, so what do we pay for? We paid for this, but free players who don't pay for the expansion got this. Like, if you take what we actually paid for versus what was free, we got way less than Forsaken. Way less. Because at least in Forsaken, it made sense because I believe that was before they went free to play. Free to play became a thing in Shadowkeep, I believe.
I feel I need to defend Beyond Light a little bit, because Beyond Light also introduced the subclass 3.0 systems, and that didn't come free until Witch Queen.
No, I agree. That was a good step in the right direction too. Like, there were certain things good about it, but still. Also think of the bits. Oh god, what was it? Oh yeah, the patrol zones. Like, normally the patrol zones were part of the package. So when you were paying that big hefty price, you were also paying for a new zone to explore, like the Dreadnought and the Taken King. So doesn't that feel a little bit sus? Like, I know that they probably thought about that. They were like, we can keep this game free to play to get people to, spend money on our microtransactions, but we can overcharge the people that are buying the expansions. So then it's almost like we can, kind of let those players that play for free not actually hinder our revenue of, like, making certain content, like the Europa. The campaign wasn't great as well. Yeah, it was not. Like the drip, like the green, thank you. I just kind of randomly put stuff on. I wasn't really trying to do anything. I was just like, what mask do I want to put on? And the green. It was, the arrivals, it was brutal. Oh, yeah, like, I completely forgot that we did have seasons where we had to wait, a large portion of time till the expansion because they got delayed. Season Arrivals, and Season of Lost, I believe, were the two where we had to wait longer. Like, those seasons were longer. But I think Season of Lost was when we got the Bungie 30th anniversary, if I'm correct. So at least that one didn't feel as long. But this one is going to be longer. It's going to feel longer. Because we don't get no Bungie 30th anniversary. They said that we're going to give, apparently that there was a statement that they are going to have something during that 7-month wait, but it's obviously not going to be the same size as the Bungie 30th anniversary. So probably no dungeon, one strike. No, it's not going to be that, probably, because that they don't make direct revenue from it. They're gonna be like, hey, if you want to play with this one new exotic that we created for the time being, give us $5. I don't know. Don't forget, a huge part of the Taken King had so much content was because it was half the original game before Joseph Stain was fired, and they had to split. Was he fired? I heard that he left. And it was rumored that the reason why he left was because he was bothered by the decision-making of scrapping his story. Because he did have a big story that involved with the Taken King and everything for the launch of Destiny 1. They don't make strikes anymore? No, we got Battlegrounds now. I'm so disappointed on that. And even then, maybe we should do that because of how bad Destiny feels.
The only thing I ever hated about Beyond Light was that Stasis Warlocks got nerfed first, and nerfed hard within the first 9 days
and
of
not the Hunter.
But Stasis Titans and Stasis Hunters got to be the kings of PvP for 2 whole seasons.
I can't. It's been a while. Thank you for the bits. It's been a while, but I remember Hunters being more annoying, specifically with the abilities. The Shatter Dive, specifically. I do remember that being such a pain. I don't remember if like warlocks got nerfed first, but I'm trying to remember. I think that even when they nerfed warlocks at first, it was still annoying, like the freezing and stuff. It took a while. There was like a big patch one, like at some moment, which I already called it. I was like, they're not going to nerf stasis until way later because they want you to buy that subclass. They want you to buy that expansion. Which is why I was kind of like shocked that Strand wasn't really that OP, other than in PvE with the suspend, which they nerfed after a while. So, bring OG Shatter Dive back? No. We did the melee and super both got nerfed, butchered. Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't do strikes like they used to, but I was gonna say,
Stasis Warlocks were the kings of freeze, but freeze was first to get nerfed. Freeze duration went from 4 seconds to 1 second.
And that was obviously the main thing. That wasn't really like directly a warlock nerf, though. That was just like to not make freeze annoying. And that was like the main thing for warlock, obviously, was freeze. So it's not like they directly went after warlocks. It was just the freeze. And it was still annoying even with that first nerf. Also, thank you for the bits. Again. Thank you so much for the bits, Arctic. My goodness. You've been bit raining. Really do appreciate it. What was but yeah, I was gonna say is since Destiny 2 is in a rough spot, I don't know what next season brings. Because I did like this season. I'm not like, oh my god, I love this season so much. I give up on all the other games. I'm gonna just play Destiny 2 because Season of the Witch is so pog. No. It still kind of got stale after a couple weeks, which is kind of how these seasons go. But I'm curious about what the story and just what we'll have as a dungeon next season, because I do love dungeons a lot. I did like Crota, and that raid is so much fun, but dungeons I have more excitement about.
Is that Stasis is getting an adjustment to bring it in line with the other elements. I love Stasis, can you tell?
No, I can't tell that, especially with when you're an Arctic wolf. Thank you for the bits. Yeah, I'm glad that they did say that Stasis will probably get some buffs in the future, so I just don't want it to be annoying in PvP again. But I'm fine with it being really good in PvE. I put dungeons over raids. I think the reason why I like dungeons more is because you could solo them. Granted, the Ghost of the Deep dungeon a little bit tougher to do so. That's where like a lot of people are saying I think that it would be a really smart idea for them to kind of do what they do with the legend campaigns. Depending on your fire team size, the damage of like bosses will be like fixed to how many players you have. I think that would be a little bit smarter to do dungeons going forward with that kind of modifier. Too bad we won't be getting much Vex stuff until after the final shape. I love teleporting and time traveling robots. Seems like they should be part of a Amazon Prime show. Yeah. I mean, they kind of rumored that Vex the Vex that we've been dealing with is like the janitors of the Vex. Like we're not actually dealing with the scariest versions of them. So that's cool to think about.
That Stasis is a big plug for next season, I wonder if Iramis will have a part to play next season.
Maybe. I don't know. Thank you for the bits. I don't know what they're going to do with Aramis, but clearly I feel like she's definitely second guessing about being with the Witness. She's definitely got that vibe. Like she's still like with the Witness and still being like the jerk, but I especially after dealing with her friend being revived as a Scorn and her basically being like, look at the power of the Witness. You know, this is my friend who's now a Frankenstein. I can't even talk to him, really. He just makes growling sounds. Like, you can tell she's not really, like, happy with the whole... At least that's what it sounded like. She didn't sound she was hyped about the whole Scorn thing. Getting her friends revived from the dead that turned into zombies. If the turkey's a janitor, I hate to see what actual Vex murder machine. I get excited to think about it. I still was so upset what they did with Panoptes. Like, I feel Panoptes could have been a really cool boss with real mechanics and stuff. And that's the other big thing about Destiny is, like, if they were to have bosses actually feel like Souls bosses, where they have actual unique moves and like designs for every single boss. Like, oh yeah, like Korea was also disappointing. They should have turned that. They should have had Korea at least be a strike. That was so disappointing. They hyped up Korea so hard for it to just be a mission. And the design was just, oh, here's just another Hydra with Taken on it. But Panoptes was super cool, but then it was just shoot rocket at face at this one moment.
Speaking of actual murder robots, imagine if that 0-hour robot Trevor is a raid boss in TFS.
Oh god, probably because we're going through our like our pasts and stuff, so I don't know. Also, thank you for the bits again. Do you think we would get an April update 2.0 like we did in the Taken King next season? We could. I remember like that was like it was just like a small little like kind of keep our attention. It wasn't like the Bungie 30th anniversary. That's where they added the Challenge of the Elders. They had the Taken armor. They had some like new weapons. Like it wasn't huge. I could see them probably doing that. The thing is I made a controversial take about the Red War campaign and Curse of Osiris and Warmind, where I said that I feel like those campaigns would have been a little bit more exciting if we had the legend difficulty during that time. Like if the foundation of Destiny was where it is now, I feel like it would be a little bit more fun to play. I did like the Red War campaign. Like there were certain things about it that was just kind of like eh. Like they were trying to like pretty much treat Destiny 1 or Destiny 2's campaign as like a Destiny 1 reboot. So I don't know. But Curse of Osiris was really bad because you had the static rolls. Like if they had random rolls, it probably would be more exciting. Patrol was stupid on that donut of Mercury, but they could have done some cool stuff with there too if they had the foundation of Destiny now. And Warmind would have been even more exciting to play because of random rolls to the Ikelos weapons. Like look at how they brought those back and how hyped those are right now. So it's just, yeah, I want to fight Zol again. And that's the big thing that stings is having all those strikes
I feel like
gone.
The Red War was the most emotionally invested I had ever been in Destiny until that point. That whole campaign was a phenomenal story.
It was. Thank you for the bits. It like, you forget how innovative the even just the beginning. You know, you're going through like the mountains and stuff, walking away from the city where you have no light, broken pistol, trying to survive. Granted, they really removed the whole like risk of having no light very quickly when you get the shard, but it was still kind of cool, that introduction. It's just a real shame that they made Gaul into a pushover. They should have made Gaul into a raid boss instead of just killing him off the end. Like he should have had like somehow he was still like alive, kind of like with the Taken King, with you kill Oryx but he's not actually dead. Like I did like the Leviathan raid, but I feel like they should have did Gaul first again as like a big raid where it's all military focus, like Cabal stuff instead of all like, because that was the thing that I was most excited about was like the level of like huge Cabal army stuff in a huge raid, like being in a giant Cabal ship, and then inside there's like giant Cabal tanks as a boss or whatever, and I don't know, it would have been cool. I don't know. The bottom line, I just, there's so many things that they need to work on. They need to invest into to make the final shape good. I'm hoping that they will, keep to what they were saying, like where they're, the benchmark for final shape is to make it better than Forsaken. Like, we'll see. But I hope that they mean not just on like the level of like the hype of the story, but also on the content that's inside. Because that's my biggest issue with Destiny. It gets stale quickly because you blow through the stuff that is there, because they want you to go back to the core playlists and there's nothing there. And they don't invest in changing that, like the Heroic Strike playlist and so on. It's just it's disappointing. I don't know. I think that I'm just thinking about now, like as a content creator, aspect, like what I'll do. Obviously, we have the new season, and I'm still going to make you laugh, humor you. A lot of people are asking about Wallet, like if I'm gonna still have Wallet, with the Eververse store and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, but at the same time, Wallet, the whole joke is that Wallet is mad that we spend money. So if we were to be like, oh no, you're saved this time. I kind of tried to do that with the joke of Solstice, but then I reverted it where I was like, is that a bumper boat? The whole point of that is it's just a joke. I don't really, I to be honest, I might not even just spend money at all on the Eververse store, but then make the jokes. Like the joke still, I don't know. Like I just want to keep that meme going, or I just got to be clever. Multiverse of Wallet. Arctic, thank you for the bits. Yeah, that's stupid, Arctic. I'm sorry to hear that. Solstice sucked. I mean, all these events kind of do. What do you mean might just don't? Well, that's what I mean. What I mean is might is the joke that I might not have the joke be that Wallet, we use money, like that joke on Wallet. I'm definitely not thinking about spending money on Eververse. But like I said, regardless where money goes into the game, like it goes, same thing with like, I'm not going to shame anybody if they want to buy things in the Eververse store, because again, there is no right answer. I don't care what you have to say. There's no right choice. Oh, excuse me. Right choice. It's so stupid how people are this smooth-brained. Like, oh, you didn't cancel your pre-order? Oh my god, you didn't do that? Wow. You're going to still give them money and like, there are still devs that are dedicated to make Destiny better. Those are the ones that I'm focused on. The management, they ain't gonna get hurt by your decision of canceling a pre-order. Like, if they close down Bungie's doors, they still walk away with a big paycheck. It's just, that's the problem. There's no real, like, bad or, like, good ending in a way of your decision making. Just go with what you... Speak with what you, like, with your wallet the way that you want to. If you don't want to play Destiny, that's okay. If you want to still play Destiny and spend money on Destiny, that's your choice too. Greed is a horrible thing. But there's no, like, winning move, necessarily. Because then more layoffs happen, the people that aren't to blame get punished. Like... It sucks. Like, you can't, if you can't sit here and tell me that Salvatore being laid off was a good choice because, Salvatore was a lazy composer. Like, get out of here. No. And I guess it was confirmed that his music was complete for Final Shape, but it just sucks. You're gonna hear these epic songs and stuff, and then you're gonna realize that's it. It's a real shame. So, But yeah, I think that I still will play Destiny 2 and here and there if I actually genuinely want to play the game. But I definitely will probably be playing, maybe even Destiny 1, going through the campaigns like I mentioned, like start over, see what it's like. Can't wait to see the strike playlist that I missed so much and go on a huge rant about strikes in Destiny 2 versus Destiny 1. And I'll probably still do like stuff like this, like Chibi Hours and stuff like that, where we talk about certain things going on in Destiny. We share opinions about Destiny. We'll probably do stuff like that. But yeah. I don't know. So, chat, out of curiosity, who is still going to get the final shape and who is not? Just say yes or no. Like, yes being you are getting final shape, no as in you're either canceling your pre-order or not getting the final shape. I'm curious. Just say yes or no in the chat. No need to do a poll. Just say yes or no. I've already done a poll on like YouTube and stuff, and I was actually surprised on like it was a very split. Don't know. Yes. Yeah. Like if you're on the fence, there's still that too. Don't know. Yeah. A lot, like seeing a lot of yes, but again, if you don't want to get final shape, there's no wrong decision. And if you still want to get final shape, that's not a wrong decision either. There's no right or wrong decision. It's just whatever you feel. That's it. Like I said, I'm still getting final shape. I have to see this journey through. But like I said, I'll be curious how it turns out. But it's going to be a really long 7 months when this new season starts. That's for sure. Especially, normally these seasons already get kind of dry after like the first month and a half. Maybe even like the first couple weeks. So having all that extra months till the expansion, oh no. So, we'll see. But that's kind of where I'm at.